Hello everybody, it is Leah and welcome back to Holistic Mystic Tales, the channel where I tell stories and you guys laugh at them because I think I'm funny. Today's video is about SkillsUSA, and I'm going to tell you one thing. If you know what I'm talking about already, you're a real one because I'm so excited about this. This is one of my best high school memories, so I'm very excited for this video, and it's going to be a long one, so I apologize in advance. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it because we got a lot to get through. Now, you may be sitting there, and you may have no idea what I'm talking about. You've never heard of this. You don't know how I participated. You're lost. It's okay. We're going to explain. So, SkillsUSA is a skill-based competition where you get to dress up like a narc in a red blazer and show off your trade skills. It's cooler than it sounds, okay? Okay, it's a competition. Now, I'm Aries. I have ADHD. You turn something into a competition? Let me show you I'm the best. Let me show you I can do better than everyone else. Anyway, as I got a little, as you can tell, I get a little intense with these things, because it was competition, and I get fired the freak up, okay? And so, how I found out about SkillsUSA was actually through my, high school's tech center. Now, you probably don't even know what a tech center is. You might not know what a tech center is. If you don't know what a tech center is a place for high school students to go for half of the day. So my junior and senior year of high school, I spent half of my day at school doing all my boring classes, and then the other half of the day, I was at my tech center learning skills in graphic printing communications. Or, if you just want the easy answer, graphic design. So it's no surprise now that I'm in college, that is what I'm studying. So, in our tech center, our whole tech center as a whole, participated in SkillsUSA as, our chapter. And we were told about it around this time of year, actually, I think. And so, we were told about it. They're like, hey, you can participate in this. And you already know I was competition. My ears were perked up. So, I participated in the t-shirt design competition. For our graphic design class, we had a lot of options of what types of competitions we could do. There was t-shirt design, there was pin design, advertising design, photography, and then there was a group advertisement design process thing. And I decided to do t-shirt design because for that one, all you had to do was design a t-shirt and give a speech about your t-shirt of why it is a good design for the competition and all that stuff. So basically for my competition, all I had to do was design a t-shirt representing the state of Michigan and SkillsUSA, and also give a baller speech to convince the judges that I should win. So it sounded pretty easy. It's a little hard, actually, if you're not used to giving speeches like that, but you get the hang of it, and I got a lot of skills afterwards, after participating, because it was something I wasn't used to. So, I was down for this. So, yay, it was really good and fun. So, now let's go on to the next part, shall we? Now, I'm going to explain a little bit how our competitions looked like and kind of how we move through the different types of competitions. So, for our SkillsUSA comps, we had 4 different, rounds, you could say. We had districts, which was basically just going against the people in your class. We have regionals, which we usually would go to a university hall that a couple other people from the region would go, and we would get to compete against other students. Then there is states, and that's where we compete against everybody who's participating in SkillsUSA in the state of Michigan. And then there are nationals, and that was usually an out-of-state trip that everybody in the U.S. who is participating in SkillsUSA goes to compete. So, pretty big stuff. It wasn't just a in your backyard type deal. We got to go to nationals, Miss Girl. So, I'm just going to kind of go over, a kind of a quick, overview of kind of how this experience went for me. So, for my district's experience, there's not really much to tell. you just go against the people in your class. It's pretty boring. And normally everybody makes it to the next round because we're allowed to take so many people to regionals. So you can imagine it's pretty chill. You just go do your thing. It's more like a practice round in my opinion. Next, we went to regionals, which we went to a local university near us and we got to compete. I think my regionals was a pretty good experience. We also got to hear some professors at the university talk about the skill trades we were competing in, which is graphic design. So that was really cool. We got to hear some like guest speakers talk about it and also have our competition, and we got free lunch at the university. It was a really good experience. And then from regionals, we get to go to states. So we went to states, and states is a little bit of a big deal because you do get to go for like a weekend trip away from home. For us, we got to go to the Grand Hotel in Grand Rapids, and we got to compete at like the DeVos Center. So that was really cool. For this weekend, for my second year competing, was actually really funny because this weekend was my 18th birthday weekend. So I was not at home celebrating with my family this year. I was actually competing in states. And all weekend I said, all I want for my birthday is first place in states. That is subtle foreshadowing. And if you read the title, you already know. Anyway, I spent my birthday there, and actually my teachers ended up getting me a cake and a little gift from like the gift shop at the hotel. It was very sweet. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. It was a really good time, and I was glad I was still able to celebrate with like my friends that also came and competed, and my teachers who were like really great teachers. I still talk to them today. Really great people, and we had a really good time there, and I won first place for t-shirt design for our chapter. And I think my not my teacher, but the person in charge of the SkillsUSA stuff at my school, right before I got on stage, literally looked at me and said, yeah, our school has never won this competition in states. I looked at him, jaw dropped. I could not believe it. So I was very happy about this win, and I was so excited to get ready to go to nationals. Girl, it was very exciting. It was very exciting. It was like stellar moment, stellar moment. Now that I had won first place in states, it was time to get ready for nationals. Now, the thing about nationals is that it wasn't actually during the school year, it was actually after the school year ended. It was in the middle or so, or end or so, of June. So by this time, school is already over. This was my senior year. I had already graduated, but I would be going back into school to go and do this competition. So, also, crazy thing, states ended up being on the weekend of my 18th birthday. Nationals ended up being the weekend of my mother's wedding. I went to school that day. I asked my teachers for the nationals date. He told me, and I go, oh my god, that's my mom's wedding. He looked at me like stone faced, and he was like, oh my god, you're gonna have a conversation. Like, oh my god. So, needless to say, I went home and was like, hey, mom, actually nationals is the week of your birthday, or your wedding. So, what can we do about that? So, long story short, she changed the date of her wedding so that I could still be at my mom's wedding and go to nationals. So, that was crazy. And I'm glad it was able to work out. So, when we got there, I'm gonna kind of like go over like what my group looked like. Our school did not have very many people going. We had a very, very small group. We had one person doing masonry, and his teacher came as a chaperone. We had 3 law enforcement students. And their teacher came to chaperone. Now, you may be noticing a pattern. You're like, okay, their teacher came, their teacher came. So now you're going to say you went with your teacher. No, I didn't. Because guess what? They wouldn't let my teacher come with me. And I was so upset about this, guys. Like, I was trying to pull every string in the book to get my teacher to come, and they just said they didn't need that many chaperones. I was like, please, please, please. My main teacher could not come because his wife had recently just had like a baby, so he had to stay with his wife and the baby. Very understandable. But we had a helper teacher, and I was trying to get her to come because she was so nice. She's so funny. I love her so much. I wanted her to come really bad. Me and my mom were like calling after school hours, being like, please, like, she has to come. My mom saying my daughter's diabetic. This teacher knows her. She would be there to help her if anything happened. This may be subtle foreshadowing. And I'm like, please just let her come. Like, I want her to come so bad. But at the end of the day, they said, no, we don't need that many chaperones. We don't need to pay for that many people to go. Like, you're just going to have to deal with it. So that kind of sucked. I didn't really know the students that came with me. They were not from my high school, so I was kind of lost with anybody to talk to. I did not know the construction guys. I did not know that teacher very well. I did know the law enforcement teacher though. I had done a couple projects with his class and he was very nice. So I was glad I kind of had a familiar face, but needless to say, I was a little upset that my teacher could not come with us. But we drove to Detroit, we went on the airplane, and we got our booties ready to go to Atlanta, Georgia, because that year that is where Nationals was. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Atlanta. Now, for our nationals trip, this trip was about 5 days, I believe, so we were there for quite some time. And as you can imagine, we weren't competing the entire time we were there. Each of us students had our own competition on different days. Unfortunately, my competition was very far into the week, so it was like the third or fourth day we were there, which was horrible because I felt like I was so anxiously waiting for my competition the whole time. But on the other hand, we had so many things to do while we were there. They set up a lot of attractions we got to go see. Like, we got to go to the Coca-Cola Museum. We got to go to, like, the zoo, the aquarium. There was lots of little things like that. We had little block parties we could go to that were, like, crossed off just for us Skills USA students. Very cool stuff we got to do. And they also had this museum. They have a civil rights museum, and I was so interested in this museum, but nobody in my group wanted to go. And I was like, there are 3 law enforcement students here. Like, they might want to go see, like, some civil rights history. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know. I was ignorant for that because nobody wanted to go. And I was like, well, I guess we're not going to the Civil Rights Museum. Whatever. But all the other attractions we got to go to, we got to eat really good food. Although my group, all they wanted to do was eat Mexican food, and then they would laugh at me every time I ordered chicken tenders. Like, they'd be like, oh, let's go to this Mexican restaurant. Let's go here. And I would get so mad, and I would say, hey guys, I don't really like Mexican food. They did not give a fuck. They were like, oh, well, maybe you should just get, like, some chicken tenders or a hamburger. Like, that's fine. So, I was so irritated, but those places have good chicken tenders, okay? If you know, you know, okay? So I ate a lot of chicken tenders in Atlanta, okay? We'll say that. Another activity that is very kind of exclusive to the Skills USA crowd is the pin trading. Now, I talked about pins a little bit ago, that there's a t-shirt competition, the competition I participated in, and then there is a pin design competition. So the cool thing about that is that the pins, people got extra pins for their state, and we would trade them with other states to get all of the pins. Now, this was so fun. And if you're like a Disney person, you kind of already get the idea of like pin trading. It's kind of a thing like I know happens at like Disney World, at the Disney parks, but it's, it's pretty basic. Like you have your pins and you try to trade them with other states to get their pins. It was very fun. I'll put some pictures up here for sure of like what my lanyard looked like by the end of it. I had so many pins. I literally came prepared with money to buy enough pins to trade to get pins for every state. Let's just say when I went to the thing and said, "Yeah, I want 49 pins." The lady looked at me and was like, "Yeah, I definitely cannot sell you that many pins. Like we do not have that many to like just like give to one person." So, by the end of it, I convinced her to give me like 20 pins that I paid for. So, it was okay. I got 20 pins. I was ready to trade. And again, here I'm thinking my group is going to want to participate in such tomfoolery. No. My group was like, "That's stupid." But you already know, every time I rolled up to dinner with my blingin' lanyard, they were like, "Oh my god, like that's so cool. Oh, I want to trade pins now." And then they had a really hard time doing it because they didn't buy the extra pins at the beginning. So, they were the fools, okay? They were the fools. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff to do on your downtime. There was a lot of stuff that was just like walking around a lot. When I went as well, I am from Michigan, as I've said. And a fun fact about Michigan, we have Tim Hortons. Now, you either know what that is or you don't know what I'm talking about. Or you might know that Tim Hortons is a Canadian coffee shop. But we got those in Michigan, Miss Girl, okay? And this year, it was either this year or the year before, there was the Tim Biebs collab when Justin Bieber collabed with Tim Hortons to make merch. Now, that Christmas before this competition, I had gotten the tote bag and the beanie for Christmas. And I love that tote bag with all my heart. I always used it. So when I went to nationals, I used it. And I just loved confusing everybody because this is a Skills USA competition. Everybody keeps coming up to me. They think I'm Canadian. They're like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm actually from Michigan." And I had people trying to trade their pins for my bag. I had people try to buy the bag off of me. Holy cow, that was an experience. And it was so funny. Nobody could convince me, though, to give away my dear Tim Biebs bag, okay? But, good old times walking around the Skills USA competitions, you know? Finally, after all of this waiting, it is competition day for me. And I am so excited. So, the night before my competition, I was so tired. We were walking around all day that day. It's hot outside. My feet are just like hurting so bad. So, I'm like, I'm just going to take a bath tonight. I'm going to soak my feet in some hot water. I'm going to calm down, go to bed really early so I'm good and awake because my competition was pretty early the next morning. So I'm trying to calm my body and be ready for competition. So I'm a type 1 diabetic. I take my insulin pump off to take my bath. I'm in my bath. I put my insulin pump back on and I go to sleep snoozing all nice and comfortable. I wake up the next morning. It's competition day. I'm dying. I I am going to throw up everywhere. I feel like my body is giving out on me. I am so 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 sick. And I am sitting in my bed. I'm like, there is no way I am this nervous. Like, I get nervous before competition, but not this nervous. So I'm, trying to get ready the best I can. I feel so sick. All of this stuff. I'm looking at my insulin pump to check the time. And I noticed something. When I took my pump off to take a nice warm bath, I shut my insulin off, suspended her, and then when I put my insulin pump back on to go to bed, I never turned my pump back on. I was still suspended. So this meant I had no insulin all night. Oh my god. Guys, This was a rookie mistake, okay? I could not believe my eyes. So I'm instantly knowing that I'm feeling sick right now because of my diabetes. I have had no insulin. I am going to throw up. I can't do this, It's competition day. I have to literally lock in so hard, and I'm having such a hard time even, like, calming my body down. So I'm getting ready. I feel like I'm gonna die. We go and I meet my chaperone to take me to my competition. We're trying to eat some breakfast beforehand. And I'm so pale in the face. I do not look good. I do not feel good. He keeps asking me, he's like, are you okay? All this stuff. And I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom because I literally think I'm gonna vomit right then and there. So I basically sprint to the bathroom, okay? Just imagine that. I'm in a red blazer and dress shoes and I'm sprinting, okay, across the food court. And so I'm in there for like a good 30, 45 minutes. Like, it's bad. And my chaperone's like knocking at the door. He can't come in because he's a guy. Guess who could have came in? My teacher, if they would have let her come. Okay? Sorry. So he's like yelling from the thing. He's like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's just my diabetes, all this stuff. I get out of the bathroom. I'm trying to explain to him my diabetic stuff, the situation, all this stuff. He's half understanding. Guess who wouldn't have half understood? My teacher, if they would have let her come. Oh my god. Like, guys. I tried pulling the diabetic card to get my way, and it didn't work. And then the diabetes really came back with the karma being like, bitch, you thought. Now you are actually gonna die at competition. So, I feel horrible. We're walking to competition. He's like, it's good, it's all good, all this stuff. I think the whole time he still just thinks I'm nervous. But really, I have an intense amount of ketones in my blood, in my diabetic stuff is just, it's just bad. It's bad. So I'm going to competition. I feel horrible. I start to feel a little bit better, and I head into my competition. I think I do pretty well, but I definitely think I would have done a lot better if I wasn't feeling this horrible. But I feel good about it. We go about our day. I think either that night or the night before, we had a couple meetings that we had to go, and we all, like, went in this big, like, stadium to, like, listen to people talk, all this stuff. We went back. We had to go to, like, the stadium because they had a bunch of people talking that we needed to go listen to. And then they're like, hey, guys, we have a surprise for you. Guess who is going to come and perform for you guys? And we're all sitting there like, perform? Like, what is this? Flo Rida, fucking guys. I'm not even joking. Flo Rida performs for us like a 2-hour set, which is basically him just, lip syncing and dancing around the stage. But I don't know. He was there. We were partying it up. It's a lot, actually. It's a lot. Anyways. We have this big concert, whatever. And they're like, okay, bye, guys. Come back a little bit later. We're going to have, like, our award ceremony. Coolio. We come back for the award ceremony, which is a excruciatingly long ceremony because there are, like, probably thousands of people here. And there's hundreds of competitions. So we're just sitting for such a long time. They finally get to all of our competitions that all of our groups that I was with participated in. Unfortunately, none of us won first, second, or third, so none of us got to go on stage and receive medals, but it was still really cool and we had a good time. After this, each state had their own special, like, state dinner. So each state went into their own, like, hall. We had, like, a dinner. Our, like, reps came and talked to us and, like, congratulated everybody. And then during the dinner, they're like, we are going to honor our, top 10 placers. And I get called up. And I think somebody else in my group gets called up. And I was like, whoa, like, this is really cool. And they give us like our paperwork. They're like, we get like a little like, you know, congratulations on like doing so well, blah 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 blah. And then we get the paper that says where we had placed within like all of these other people who came to participate. I look at my paper, I was in 6th place. 6th place out of what, 50 states? That was very cool. That was very crazy. I could not believe that. So even though I did not get to go on stage and receive a medal, I did really good in this competition, and I felt really proud, and I was really happy that I had this experience under my belt. It was a very cool experience. So, that was pretty cool. And yeah, so we get wrapping things up here in a minute. So yeah, that was my basic kind of experience with doing Skills USA and making it to nationals. It was a really cool experience. And yeah, that was kind of cool. Some other cool stuff I would say from my experience is like seeing everybody wear my t-shirt. If you do t-shirt design and you make it to nationals, everybody in your state gets your t-shirt. So like the whole trip, I just kept seeing people wear my t-shirt, and I'll put some pictures up because it was really cool. I'm like, I designed that and you're wearing that, and that's really cool. And also, remember I brought up the Civil Rights Museum? Nobody wanted to go. Another cool thing, the night before the last day, I think we had a flight like a little bit later in the afternoon, so we didn't have to rush in the morning. My chaperone who took me to my competition, the law enforcement teacher, he came up to me and he was like, hey, like, remember that museum you wanted to go to? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, and I was like, nobody wants to go. You know, it's okay. We don't have to, whatever. And he was like, no, no, no. If you wake up early in the morning, we can go grab some breakfast real quick, and I'll take you down there, because everybody else is going to want to just sleep in. And I was like, really? I was so excited, because I really wanted to go to the Civil Rights Museum. I am so big into, like, activism and all that, and just people and the art and all of that stuff. I just think is so interesting, and I think it's so important to educate yourself on that kind of stuff. So I was so excited that he was willing and able to take me to go do that, and we went. It was really cool. They had super cool art, super cool like stuff up, and just a lot of cool information. It was a really, really good time, and I got a really cool, like, Pride history book from the gift shop and a t-shirt, so I was excited and happy. And that was really cool, and that was really nice of him to take me, because I was like, man, nobody wants to do this, and I really have really interested in it, but I got to go, so that was cool. But some final thoughts, man. I don't know. If you have the opportunity to participate in Skills USA, I definitely think you should. It is a very, very good time. It's very cool. It was a very good experience for me. It's one of my fondest high school memories, definitely, I will say. I talk about it all the time to people because I get so excited about it. It was just it's a very fond, happy time and memories in my brain. So I think it's a very good time, and you should participate if you can. It's really cool. But yeah, that's the video. Sorry, it was a little bit long-winded and a bit longer. I apologize, but if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and you come back for more videos as they come out. I'm really gonna try this every other week thing on Thursdays, so I'm hoping. Car update, my PT Cruiser is dead, okay? I have a new car, though. I'll put a picture. This is my new car. This is a 2015 Ford Fusion. This is the newest car I've ever driven. Her name is Devon Rouge. And you have to say it like that. It's not Devon. It's Devon Rouge. She's beautiful. I love her. She's great. And amazing. And, yeah. So, I hope you guys have a great day, night, morning, afternoon. Bye!